his was out there, kind of your initial reaction.
Sure. My initial reaction when I read the letter of the county executive was initially to be somewhat confused and really taken aback with the suggested cuts in the budget. Certainly, if cuts were needed, cuts, would certainly be something, as I said, if needed, that I would support. However, in looking at and reviewing the budget, and analyzing it, and reviewing the letter from Mr. Dooley, I was somewhat confused because these cuts come at sort of an interesting time. I mean, the executive branch has hired approximately 423 people this year since January 1st to September 7th. Have hired about 423 people, about 241 full-time people, and the remaining people were part-time employees. Now, with that being said, that's not indicative of a budget crisis to hire 423 people.
Isn't there a hiring freeze?
And they're also given that there's a hiring freeze. So we're told that these positions were to fill vacant positions. These are dispersed throughout the county.
But they do, that's the type of position.
Yes, okay. Exactly. Now, 241 of those positions are full-time positions. The budget office for St. Louis County calculates a $66,000 a year average per employee with benefits. If you extrapolate those 423 employees, if they were all full-time, it's about $28 million. So if you take 241, you see the numbers and the magnitudes that we're dealing with. It's a great deal of money. It's probably somewhere in the ballpark of about $12 to $15 million. Now, when you consider that, and if we were just to slow down on the hiring, if the executive branch was just to slow down on the hiring, that would provide a great deal of money and to cover any perceived budget shortfall that we might or might not have. And then when you couple that with our own revenue numbers, and I actually have the documents in front of me, one was the quarterly revenue report from St. Louis County. It was issued the second quarter of 2011, came out August of 2011, so we've had the benefit of having this for a few months. And the second quarter revenue highlights, and I'm reading directly from the county document, general funds revenues through the second quarter of 2011 were up $824,000. Excuse me, we're down only $824,000. So through the middle of the year, we were down in actual revenue only $824,000. So to say that we're in a budget crisis and that all these cuts are necessary is not something that I agree with.
Do you think this is just a way to pressure the council to agree to a tax increase?
I can't really speculate that that's the reason why we're seeing this, but certainly it could lead one to that conclusion.
Especially with the parks being shut down.
It could, and we are dealing with very high-profile parks that are being shut down. And I think we all understand and know that parks are something that we all physically enjoy in the county. It's somewhere you can walk on trails, somewhere where you can go enjoy. We have some very nice parks in St. Louis County, and some of these parks that are being, to be put on the block, or so to speak, are parks that everyone really enjoys.
There are other things that you can do besides eliminating positions, and the tax increase isn't necessary. Why would the county executive open himself up to this in the first place if none of these measures you say are necessary?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I only know the facts of what I have before me. I have a 2012 budget kickoff document here. The 2012 budget kickoff document from the executive branch has nothing in it about cuts. Nothing. In fact, if we look at what the spending pressures that were foreseen, this is as of June of 2011, one of the spending pressures that was foreseen was an increase in pay that was going to cost $4 to $6 million. That was one of the spending pressures that was listed. So at least in June of 2011, just months ago, the executive branch was talking about giving employees a raise. And there's nothing in here in this document about a tax increase. So it was a no tax increase increase in pay for the employees in this document.
So what
This
changed?
is their document.
What's changed since then? Are they getting more information about property tax returns and people successfully challenging?
I'm on the council, and I have attended every meeting since I've been a council member. Literally, I have 100% attendance at every meeting, and since I've been the chair, I've met with the county executive nearly every Tuesday before every meeting to discuss what's going to happen in the meeting that night. And I have never heard anything prior to what I read in the Post-Dispatch a month and a half ago about layoffs and cuts. Nothing. I've certainly not heard anything at all about a triggering event that would have changed the landscape of the budget.
So,
With everything that you've said, he said in there that he wants this to be a team effort.
Yes.
Do you feel that there's good faith on his side, or are you going into these negotiations wondering what's being plotted on the other side?
I will tell you, I think that the public sentiment in Washington and the state government is that the public wants a government that can hammer out issues like this and that can act reasonably. I'm going in with every hope that we can all act reasonably and level-headedly, and level-headedly, if that's a word, and work together. I mean, that's my goal. And I don't want to go in there with any preconceived notions one way or the other. I really want to get this done. I don't want to see people laid off. I don't want to see parks closed. Now, once again, as I said, we don't close parks and we don't lay people off, but I want a budget that doesn't do that. And if possible, I'd like to see a budget that, is very similar to the one we saw last year,
would it be fair to say this isn't necessarily about parks or layoffs, but it's about a power struggle?
I don't know, I have to leave that to other people to draw their conclusions. I can't really say that, and I can't say that because I can't say it with certainty. I don't want to say anything that that I have no certainty of. I can tell you that every indication that I've received is that, the executive branch wants to work with us. And I'm going to go into these budget meetings with that in mind, that we're going to work together. And that's what I hope for. I really do. That's why I got involved in elected office, was to try to do the best I can for my community. And I don't think I'm doing the best for my community by, speculating on whether there's a power struggle or something along those lines. I think, we just need to keep it real and stay reasonable and open-minded. And that's what I'm going to do. But I will say, for me, I really want to see a budget that does not, a tax increase is out of the question. I want to see a budget, though, that doesn't have layoffs and doesn't have closures, where I don't believe they're necessary.